Ain't no need to be glam out in the garden, but look, I'm not mad at my appearance though this morning, low key. We have bunny rabbits out here and we call them gangster bunnies. Hey folks, it's Queenly Gina and welcome back to The Haven. I'm so happy for you all to join me here. Now today I'm in a different location. I'm out in the country. I'm out in the country, but I'm out here for a reason. I'm out here because today I'm going to work in the garden with my mom. It is up in the day. The sun really hasn't come out and it's kind of a little overcast. It may rain again today. This year we've really been blessed with rain here in Michigan. So we're really happy about that because last year, y'all look, with the whole panoramic going on, it really was a struggle getting a garden going because I feel like a lot of people were doing it. So I don't know, it was just a hard time like getting equipment we needed and all kinds of stuff was going on. But this year, so far, so good. When I can, on my days off, what I do is I try to come over here and help out in the garden because it's a synergistic effect. Many hands make light work. Like my mom always preached when we were growing up, when it was time for us to do something. She was like, all right, gang, many hands make light work. So this is the garden. It looks amazing. We've got corn, we've got okra, we've got potatoes. Yeah, so we had to put this fence up with the post. My brother helped us with the post and actually initially plowing the field at first because when you first break up ground, it can be pretty tough. Just to get the soil nice and fluffy, able for us to work it and things of that nature. We have bunny rabbits out here and we call them gangster bunnies because like, look, you don't play around with these bunnies. They go and they chomp your stuff down. And the thing about it is they will sit up and like watch you. They won't even run sometimes. So we call them gangster bunnies because they're really tough. They're not the bunnies that you get in the cage. They're really rabbits, but we call them gangster bunnies because we're just, I don't know, we're just silly like that. These are just bagged for like soil that we got to help build up the soil because our soil here is sandy. So we have to work with it. We can't just plant something in it and expect it to be great. So in order for things to be nice and lush and, you know, actually produce for us, we have to kind of build the soil up a little bit, put manure in it. We've got squash and zucchini growing over here, tons of tomatoes. I'll show you all inside. And then we have a composter over here in the corner that we use to, make compost so that we can also use it as fertilizer. And here are like bags of leaves, which we have plenty of those around here. And we just put them in these bags and over time, they're gonna put them in the composter or put them in the garden because when leaves break down, they put nutrients into the soil. You know, it's just kind of like the circle of life. So everything seems to help everything else. Look, ain't no need to be glam out in the garden, but look, I'm not mad at my appearance though this morning, low key. These are okay. They'll do. They're not the best. We used to have some out here growing that my dad planted and they were amazing. What we need is a scarecrow out here. That would be amazing. Because the thing is, we're keeping the bunnies out, but the birds, the birds can still get in here, but it's not necessarily terrible if they aren't attacking the plants because then they can attack the bugs. So it's not horrible. The worst thing is keeping the bunnies out though. You have this high enough so that the deer can't jump over and get it because they will look. They were like, we found a spot. Like we found a spot to eat. Like we find a spot, a restaurant. Like we found a restaurant down here on such and so street, and they tell everybody else about it, and everybody else, and then we won't have a garden. Mommy, what are you over here doing?
Weeding the garden. wild carrots. Trying to be deceptive.
That's the truth, though. We have the actual carrots over here. But that's the thing about growing vegetables. It's just like you will get a counterfeit. Just like other things in life, like in dating, other things in life, you know, you think something good is coming along to be a counterfeit. It really isn't the real thing. Same thing in the garden. You'll have wild carrots that won't give you nothing come up beside the real thing and try to deceive you. Right, Mommy?
Right.
See?
Well, I guess if you were in the wilderness and you needed to eat them.
Yeah, you could chomp on them, but there hardly isn't anything on the bottom there.
Mm-mm.
And I can't remember if the tops are edible. You see how big, though, they grew? Like, look at that. That's out of control. And that's the thing about counterfeits, you all. The counterfeits will be looking big and lustrous and growing just as big and beautiful and have you just all types of deceived. You see these right here? They look good, but they are not that big and out of control like that. See, first off in the morning, folks, my mom's got her water bottle out here while she's working, because working out in the garden can be like part of a workout, getting exercise in. She's trying to stay nice and, you know, limber and have that quality of life for herself. So you have to be intentional, you know, working out in the garden, doing stuff active. Right, Mommy?
Right. That is true.
And check out her boots, folks. Aren't those so cute? She's got her garden book. Looking for boots for the longest time online, but y'all know what? Y'all know how I feel about Aldi's? If not, check out my Instagram at Queenly Gina. So look, you be finding all kinds of stuff at Aldi's and they weren't expensive and they're hanging in there and they're cute. Like, what? I was so happy when I found those. You just never know what you're gonna find there.
I was happy too.
So yes, super cute. Look, I'm out here. Y'all don't even want to know what I'm wearing. I'm wearing like my favorite thing to wear outside actually in the summertime. So I'm over here by the okra. I'm about to tackle this potato patch over here because as y'all can see, like you can't really see in between it very well. You can't tell which is the potato in some areas, and you can't tell with the weed. And these weeds right here, ever since I first started when I was a child, I forget what they're called. I used to know what they're called, but yeah, these weeds will take over. But the great thing about them is they're really easy to pull up most of the time. So I've got my hoe, got some gloves because you got to protect the hands and the manicure, right? So yeah, still have to practice self-care, folks. I mean, unless you want to put your hands in the dirt, go right ahead. I mean, I've done that before too. Nothing wrong with that. Things are starting to look a little bit better already. I can see this nice potato plant nice and clearly, and I can tell it's a potato plant. It is not like jumbled together like all that over there. I just want to show you all though, like what, like this is one thing about living in the country. You start like seeing things you've never seen before. Like I've seen mushrooms, but I've never seen these, like ever. So I'm like, where in the world did they come from? I'm gonna go ahead and pull them up because I don't know if they're edible or not, and we're not going to chance that. We're just gonna stick to what we planted here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those up. And when you're pulling weeds, you gotta pull it from the root, shake the dirt off so the dirt is left there. Shake the dirt off. It's really important because if you don't get it by the roots, you'll look up and these bad boys, it'd be like you never even weeded anything. And whatever you can't get with your hand, that's what the hoe is for. The hoe is to like aerate the soil, get it nice and loose and fluffy if it's packed around plants. And yeah, to help you pull these weeds up. It's kind of gross how they just kind of like squished in my hand. I didn't even see it when I pulled it up. Ugh. but yeah, so you pull weeds so that the sun can get to the plants that you want them to get to, and you don't want your plants sharing nutrients with the weeds. You don't want the weeds soaking up all the nutrients from the other plants. All right, let me get back to work.
My daughter Regina has came out to help me weed the garden. She's such a beautiful daughter as far as heart. Well, I say looks. But anyway, she's weeding the Irish potatoes. She's hard at work there. Such a tall girl.
I have to get down. I have to get down at some spots. It's amazing. You don't really realize it, that they're actually kind of like growing along the ground instead of just straight up like a bush. It looks like a bush, but then when you get in there, you realize it's like along the ground that they're growing. To go into this section back here with the hoe, but I'm trying to make sure I get it good in between of these little pieces of grass. Crabgrass. Is it crabgrass or is it lobster grass? And I think this is lobster grass because the crabgrass.
Lamb quarters, those tall ones are lamb
Oh,
quarters.
those weeds, yeah.
Yeah, lamb quarters
Lamb
and
quarters.
crabgrass.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. It's a great day for weeding because it rained yesterday, and so the soil is nice and moist. It's the perfect time. So the weeds come up even easier. Just have to be careful not to uproot your vegetables because they'll come up just as easy. Or easier.
She has a little patch here to do,
Yep.
but she's busy at it. And of course, she can have some of the bounty as much as possible.
And I just hope that these potatoes over here, looking all pretty like they are, actually have a nice crop of potatoes underneath. Hopefully they're not fronting.
Yes.
Like they're about to do something.
Big beautiful tops and no potatoes.
Right.
But I think that they will have potatoes. We have purple potatoes, small potatoes, get it, girl. Get it, girl. Let me leave my daughter alone. She's
Pulling
doing
them
a
up,
good thing.
pulling them up by the gullet, like we call it, which makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. Pulling them up by the root. Got to get in there to pull them up by the root. Okay. So how I weed too is not just pulling the weed up like this. I use my fingers to help me get it at the root. So I hook my fingers around the base of the plant and pull like that and pull it. Usually using this finger, which is the strongest finger. Pull, especially if I know the weed is going to be tough or if it's short. So it's not just pulling them up from the top and yanking them up because you're just going to get tops. You want to make sure you get the roots. I want to make sure that this garden bed right here doesn't get weedy again anytime soon. The thing is, folks, is you can learn a lot from nature though. And I was just thinking, you know, thoughts like this come to your mind when you're weeding about God and how he just speaks to your spirit. You know, a lot of things in your life have to be uprooted. And even though it's pretty like an intense thing, it's actually delicate too, because I have to be very mindful of where my hands are. I just can't go crazy and just start uprooting. And God is one of the main people that can, if you need a change, to uproot things in your life. And a lot of the times, you know, it can be physical, but it's also mental. And he does it a lot of times by the renewing of our mind. And simply what that means is like a change in your mindset. So a lot of things that you're having a hard time overcoming or might be addicted to, he has to uproot those things. He has to renew your mind and change it. And he is the weeder. And he is like the best weeder. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that he can't just come and just sometimes uproot you crazily or just do it haphazardly or haphazardly. He does it in a way that only he knows how to do it. And when he does it, even though it might take a period of time, the weeds won't grow back like they did, because you have changed, have a change of heart. So things that you used to enjoy might simply not enjoy anymore because you have a different mindset, a different way of thinking. And that's pretty much what the Bible means when it's talking about that. You know, we get so carried away with how the Bible is worded and, you know, this English language, but it's pretty much stating things how we talk a lot of times nowadays about, you know, business and things of that nature and mindset and getting yourself in a right mind space. That's all the renewing of the mind means. That's all the renewing of the mind means. Just loving the sound of these birds out here too. So peaceful. Y'all, so I accidentally pulled up a potato. Actually pulled it up, but I put it back. I planted it back and I prayed over it. So hopefully it'll be one of the best producers. It was so cute though. They were little potatoes. They were like the size of like, I don't know what, grapes on the bottom of them growing. So I just put it back in the soil. Oops. So another good use for a hoe, you all, is that if there's hard parts to reach in the garden and you don't want to like fall over or damage something, I use it to brace myself. So I hold on to one end of it and I need to reach to a different area, then I use it as a brace. So sort of like you would use like a walking stick, just place it in a certain area, brace your right hand or whatever is your dominant hand, and then use the other hand to do what you need to do. Oh, look at you guys. We have a friend. Hi. Meow. Aw, he's running away. Well, our little friend was hungry. Just popped up out of the middle of nowhere and came running towards our garden. He's a little afraid, but he was hungry. But from what I can detect from cats and just, you know, being around him a little bit, I feel like it's a friendly fellow. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, actually. I don't think it's the time to try and check quite yet. Still kind of fearful, and I don't really want to get scratched even though I have gloves on. So far so good. I know that he listens when you're talking to him, so that's a good thing. He's not so scared and frightened that he doesn't take the time to take in the surroundings, so pretty smart. So it's not the sunniest that it could be today, but it's pretty much sunny now. Time to take a break and go get something to eat. But I came over here to the beans. Yeah, lima beans. These are lima beans, folks. It's a mixture of beans because some of the leaves are different, I've noticed. But peas have smaller leaves, but these are beans. And little baby okras. And the Irish potatoes that I weeded, and it looks a lot better. all the greenage that you can see and the foliage now is definitely potatoes. It's nothing else. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. All of us out here in the garden. Still got my mom over here working. She's about to go in as well. And our new furry friend here. And our dog Samson. They're getting to know each other in a peculiar type of way. Yeah, we don't trust him along with the kitten. Even though the kitten has been holding its ground and hissing and fighting back, but believe it or not, we've had cats and dogs get along pretty good. They can get along well, and they just have to learn how to get along, just like human beings. It's a process, y'all. It's a process. You all have a great rest of the day, and hey, if you're getting ready to go to bed tonight, have a good night's rest, and I'll talk to you all later. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.